Hi. Today's episode of The Pun Show was taped before the murder of George Floyd. I'd like to say three things before you watch. Number one, I still think there's room in the world for laughter. Number two, I hope you'll consider donating to the link that I've shared. And number three, Black Lives Matter. Enjoy the show. Welcome to The Pun Show. I'm your host, Macklen. It's the last show of the month, so I'm starting a brand new tradition by wearing my Pun Show poncho. It protects me from the rain, Wilson, the volleyball. Speaking of precipitation, if you smell a drink before you ingest it, you can do your own precipitation. It's no more of that. Tomorrow is Monday, so today must be Pun Day, May 31st. This shutdown began sometime in March. I don't remember the exact BART date. Maggie, it was 314? Pie. And it'll go at least until the summer. So, stay at homer, especially if you're showing any of the symptoms. No Springfield destination. It's time for an expunation. Here's where I explain or expound upon an ex-pun. Last episode, I ventured that babies are only put into cradles when they're behaving cray or dull. By splitting the word cradle into two parts and exaggerating the second part to become its own syllable, I was able to capture two different baby moods, fussy and sleepy. Now it's time for the pun of the day. To cure COVID-19, I'd prefer medicine over a Roomba. Better to have a vaccine than a vac unseen. I'll show my math on that pun in tomorrow's episode. Please welcome my guest, Lindsey Mallard.
Thank you for having me.
Lindsey, you are a comedian, and I'm delighted to have you on my show to talk about a pontification subject of your choice. What is that?
How I can't keep plants alive no matter what I do or try.
How many dead plants are in your house right now?
First of all, let me just say this. Whenever I go to Trader Joe's, I always get flowers because they're the cheapest there, right? And I always put flower food in there. I always die within like 3 days. I'm like, am I putting too much flower food in there? Then I have a basil plant that was doing great, watered every day. Now it's wilting and dying for no reason. I have a bamboo thing in my window. It just says, add water, done that. Now it's been brown for a while, and I'm just hoping and praying that, maybe it's going to come back. Then I have a cactus that I'm pretty sure is dead, but it looks cute. And then outside I have a pot of what are they called? Marigolds, I think they're called. I'm so bad. And they'll like grow, and then I'll like prune them, and then they'll die again. And then I'll grow them and do all the things. Put the fertilizer. They have these. I went like this. They have fertilizer. They have fertilizer things. You can put into the thing. Do that. Nothing. I don't know what the problem is.
What research have you done into why you're failing so hard at keeping your plants alive?
First of all, love that you phrased it that way. Number two. This is the one, my basil plant is the one that you buy at like the grocery store, and it's got the little pot, and it just says literally just stick into a little tiny cup of water and put water in. And that's what I do every time.
So what is it about you or plants that means you haven't given up yet? Why do you keep trying?
Because I love, like, whenever I'm around, I don't know what it is, anything nature, that sounds so stupid. Like having plants in your home, like I've always been one of those people that I was like, I would love to have a plant in my home and just be like, this is something that I can do and be proud of. And people walk in, you're like, oh, you kept that alive? I'm like, I sure did. Also, what does this mean about me being a mother? Like, what if
I mean, why don't parents get compliments like that? Oh, you kept that alive for this long? Congratulations.
I want to be the kind of person, because my grandma was a gardener, my mom's a gardener, she's so good at that. My sisters are great at that. Like, even when my husband was in veterinary school and we had a house in Indiana, and we had a whole yard, and I would cause so much depression if I said how much our mortgage was in Indiana, because it's like insanely cheap. Anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. Just a side note.
Save that for another episode of my show. Lindsey's back next week to talk about mortgage rates. Regional mortgage rates in the Midwest.
That's how I do. So, but yeah, like even when we we had a garden, nothing. My mom would tell me all the things to do, nothing. I could never get it. And my grandma had a stone in her garden that said, "Grow, damn it."
Maybe you need that stone.
I probably do. I just asked my family, it's like, where did that stone go? Who took it? We don't know.
Before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Sure. I'll plug. This isn't necessarily a plug, but it's a plug of what I'm attempting to accomplish in quarantine. This is more of a showcase than show and tell. This is my paint by numbers, right? So it looks really easy, but once you get up super close, look at that. Like super tiny. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Super tiny, like it's hard. And I thought, oh, this will be a fun. I'm trying to find a thing that it's supposed to turn into. I can't find it. But
it's not an electoral map of the country, is it?
Tell you what. If there's that much blue, I'll take it.
Well, that about does it for our show today. We're back tomorrow with an all-new episode. Let's take a sneak peek. Convention I went to last year, everyone was all like, wow, that looks really good. I love these previews. I'm Macklen MacLoogie. If you would like me to read your pun live on the air, please send a postcard to the Pun Show Mail-In Contest, care of Macklen MacLoogie, RR1 Box 288, Studio City, California, 90210. If you don't have a postcard, you can use a Kellogg's card. See you later.